Next, we're going to be talking with Tom from Stunning String Studios, and I think you're going to really like him. He's got sure has an eye for color, and they're going to be using their colorways on Buffalo Fiber in the near future. So again, be looking for that. We'll be making announcements as they come. But let's get to Tom from Stunning String Studios.
Hi, so we're at the 2019 DFW Fiberfest. I'm at Stunning String Studio, and this is Tom Garland.
Hello.
Hi, Tom. Welcome to the Man vs. Knitting channel. So tell me a little bit about how you have come into the fiber world. Do you knit?
A little bit.
A little
My
bit?
wife has taught me a little bit of knitting, but my main area is dyeing. I dye all the fibers and yarn.
And so how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this for about 8 years now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Full time for about 3 years now.
Wow. So that's a lot of tinker time in there.
Yep.
So Stunning String Studio has been around for 3 years then? Or
No,
the full 5?
about 8 years.
8 years. Okay. And how many shows do you think you do a year?
We do about 15 shows a year.
That's a good fair amount.
Yep.
And then you obviously have an online presence.
Yes, we do.
How much do you think, percentage-wise, do you think is between your online and your in-person? Because you don't have a shop, right?
Not yet. We don't have a shop yet, but we are looking for the summer to have one where our lease for our studio, our big building is up at end of May, so we're probably going to sign a new contract with another building that's retail space and a studio.
Oh, that's exciting. Oh, that'd be really exciting, because that's part of, I think, some of the mystery, and people will know, is that brick and mortar stores are not as prevalent as they used to be.
Right.
So the fact that we can get them and we have somebody that says they're going to do that is really kind of exciting.
Right, and what we want to do with it too is keep it more of the indie dyers and more of the makers, and not really put any of the manufactured stuff in it. That's what we want to go to, and make it more of a destination. We're going to put classrooms in there. It's about 10,000 square feet, so we'll be able to do a lot of different things in there.
Great. And where is this going to be based?
In DeKalb, Sycamore, Illinois. The two towns are right next to each other, so you can't tell when one stops and one starts. So it's I call it DeKalb Sycamore, Illinois.
That's funny. Yeah. So with all of the future things so bright, what do you think is your best seller product when it comes to, since you're a dyer and you're thinking color, obviously.
Yep.
What do you think is some of the more exciting or moving colors?
Some of our good colors are ones that are overwashed, jewel tones. Those sell really well. And I would say one of our biggest things that sells is our kits that come with the yarn and the pattern and the beads and everything with it is probably our number one sellers is our kits, because people like having everything right there.
That's true.
Yep.
Well, it's one-stop shopping almost.
Yep.
That's exciting. Have you seen, obviously guys in the industry aren't prevalent.
Yep.
That's one of the things that this channel's trying to increase.
Right.
So if you had a sort of a timeline, if you think of the last 10 years, are you seeing more guys at shows or ordering from your website?
I am. And we actually, one of our big things too is we have a mystery club that we do every year. And we're seeing men join our mystery club too. And so we're seeing more people coming through the shows. And it's not just men coming through the shows with their wives, but men coming through that knit too. And it's all kinds of men, men that have families come through, men that just by themselves, and it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, this show has been a perfect example of that, because there's been a lot of guys who have just been walking around, and the good thing is I can talk to a vendor easy peasy, but it's been really hard for me to talk to the average knitter.
Right.
That'll come in time. It's still a newish channel, so
yeah.
So if you're dealing in color, and tell me about some of the bases that your yarn comes in, because I think a lot of the color will impact on the base.
Right. And so a lot of our bases are a merino superwash.
Okay.
And I have a whole wall here in the booth that is just 100% superwash yarn. They go from lace weight all the way down to Aran weight lace, so you can see all the different 100% superwash and how it dyes in the different weights. And with that, what's nice about that is I have all the colors in a row, and so people can see how the dye takes differently, and that's pretty interesting to see. A lot of people didn't realize that the same formula is going to look different on different bases.
Right.
Yep.
No, it's
And
very
that's
true.
why I do that with my rainbows. Yep.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we're going to see that shortly. So, if you're, tell me about a little bit how Stunning String Studio is with. You said your wife works here too. Mm-hmm. So, what part does she have in the business?
So she is the designer of all of our patterns that are knit patterns, and we do work with other designers too. But that's her experiences in knitting and designing. So that's what she does, and then she's the heart and soul of all the business stuff. I'm out in the shop doing the dyeing, but she does all of the bookkeeping and all that too, and all of the knitting. We're at all the shows together, and
See, it takes a team. And
It
so when
does.
you get one of the kits, you're probably going to be getting one of her patterns.
Mm-hmm.
So be sure to look at that and find what works for you. All right, well, Tom, I want to thank you so much. And
Okay.
so let's take a look at all your stuff.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay.
That was easy, huh?
Yep. No, one thing though too is with my
7 minutes.
background, our yarns and our fibers, we have over 200 stock colors in over 22 bases.
Wow.
And here at shows that we do, we can't bring it all. Some of these guys have to stay home. It's kind of hard figuring out which ones. At this show, we have over 90 stock colors in 12 bases here. Some of our larger shows that we do, we can bring about 150 stock colors in 12 bases.
Goodness.
But here we have about 90. And
This
then
is
all the
still
other
very
ones are on
impressive.
our website for all of our other colors. And what we like to do is we like to start with the color spectrum, and we start with pink and we work our way down in the color spectrum, and we have lots of reds. What I try to do at a show where I can't bring all of the different yarns is I like to bring some of the most popular ones of each of the colors.
That makes sense.
And so I got a lot of pinks, a lot of reds, a lot of purples, and then I fade into the blues. And I try to do it in a way that I have a color that kind of coordinates pretty good as it goes into the other colors. And most of my colors are the solids. I have some tonal, not much variegated. Most of what we do excuse me, is our solids. That seems to be our following, is people want our solids. They're all of our colors are done in formulas that are repeatable, and I make sure of that. When I do create new colors, when I dye a new color, after I dye it, I go back, and what takes me a little longer than what normally is done for coming up with new colors is after it's dried, I soak it again in water to make sure it doesn't bleed. That's one of the biggest things with my wife being a designer, is she doesn't want any colors that can bleed, because we do a lot of 2 to 3, 4 color skeins,
Exactly.
shawls and things like that. So I make sure nothing bleeds, and sometimes that can be tricky, but I won't put a color out if it's going to bleed any. So that's why anytime I make a new color, it gets soaked again to see if it does. And then I go into all the different variations of the blues, and then go into the green blues and the greens then. So I try to keep it to the point where I have, at a show where I can't bring everything, is 3 or 4 of each of the main primary colors, and those colors like the green family and the yellow family, the orange family, and I just walk my way around with all of the grays. I do some gradient kits with the different kinds of grays and blacks and the blues and the greens.
Yeah, those are just really lovely. Can we talk a little bit about dye lots?
So all of my yarn has a dye lot number on it, and I put that on every one of my skeins, and I make sure when I go to shows, sometimes I don't have all the same dye lot on a stick. So when people buy large quantities, I make sure it's the same dye lot, and if they don't have enough of it, I will dye up a pot of yarn for them. I usually do 10 mainly in a pot for a dye lot, so I usually have enough for sweater quantity,
worth, yeah.
But I have bigger pots if people want bigger sweater quantities and things like that too.
Very good. All right, well, thank you for that. So moving on.
Okay. And then this is what our yarn looks like knitted up. It's we have over almost 70 different patterns on Ravelry now that my wife designs and is on Ravelry. And so most of these patterns are ours. We do work with other designers, and we have some of those in our booth too. And some of them are just fantastic with what they come up with. We work with people like Gwen Bordner, Edie Eichmann, Robin Chichula, to name a few, Steve Malcolm. We work with all those, and Steve Malcolm just came out with a nice sweater for us, and we're going to have that at our next show. He's a good one to work with his cables.
We'll have to check
like
that out.
Yeah, we'll have that at our next show. And most of our patterns are done in we try to do it in all of our different bases. We come up with patterns in lace. We come up with patterns in fingering weight. We come up with patterns in Aran weight, worsted weight. So everybody has a different one. So we don't have just one kind of weight for our patterns and our yarns. So
that's exciting. That's good.
We have all that. We come up with, every once in a while we come out with exclusive lines like this one we call our sprinkles, which has the different speckles of color on it, and that we came up with a nice little catchy bakery phrases, like one is called a party.
What did I tell you? An eye for color, for sure. And the fact that he does it all himself just amazes me. But they had a lot of other really great stitch markers and a lot of other things that I wanted to get, but I wasn't able to because of all the time. But I'm going to be ordering from them soon, and so I'll share some of the products I get from them because some of them were rather unique, and I think you'd really like them. But that wraps up our time here at the DFW Fiberfest. I hope you enjoyed all of this. Please subscribe if you like for more future episodes, and we will see you at the next episode. Bye.